People are watching, not just because of one person. All right, but they're watching because of Me Too. Me Too. They're playing at LSU. There are people right now, the lack of videos involving Angel Reese working on layups. Now, look, the layup issue is a real issue for Angel Reese, and I don't understand the taking all the... I mean, yeah, sure, you can practice.
Caitlin Clark didn't just return to Iowa, she shut the entire state down. What was supposed to be a quiet preseason warm-up turned into a sold-out spectacle with over 17,000 fans losing their minds before tip-off. But as Clark shattered expectations, one so-called rival was left exposed, and what happened next made it crystal clear who really runs the WNBA.
They didn't open the upper bowl. They did not open the upper bowl, and the lower bowl was half empty. It was at under 50% capacity.
This wasn't a game. This was a statement. And the moment Caitlin Clark stepped foot back in Iowa, everything changed. You could feel it in the air, like the state had been holding its breath, waiting for her to return. What was scheduled as a simple preseason exhibition instantly morphed into a sold-out, can't-miss cultural event.
So the narrative about people are watching for Me Too, people are showing up for Me Too, that narrative that's bullshit.
Let's put this into perspective. Preseason WNBA games don't sell out. They never sell out. Most of the time, the crowd is made up of interns, bored families, and a handful of curious fans trying to kill an afternoon. But this was different. 17,575 fans packed into the arena before the doors even officially opened.
Talking about individuals, there's only one that people are going to go out and watch. And it's not Hailey Van Lith, and it's most definitely not Angel Reese.
And it wasn't just inside. Thousands more were outside the venue, hoping to catch a glimpse of Clark. Some didn't even have tickets. They just wanted to be part of the moment. Streets were backed up for miles. Tailgates were set up like it was a college football Saturday. People weren't showing up for the fever. They weren't showing up for the WNBA. They were showing up for Caitlin. Don't just watch history happen, be part of it. Subscribe now and join the movement that's changing women's basketball forever.
I tried to tell you guys, you heard me say it on this channel. A lot of Angel Reese fans are not basketball fans, and they are proving it. They proved it last night without a shadow of a doubt. That was one of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen.
This wasn't hype. It was a homecoming unlike anything women's basketball has ever seen. Fans held homemade signs. Entire families wore matching jerseys. Kids had Clark's number drawn on their cheeks with glitter. And when the announcer called her name during warm-ups, the noise shook the rafters. Not when she scored. Not during tip-off. During warm-ups. Now here's where things get real. The WNBA has been begging for attention for decades. And in walks a 22-year-old rookie who sells out an arena faster than most NBA players. She hasn't even played a regular season game, and she's already being treated like royalty. And why not? She's doing the impossible, turning preseason basketball into headline news.
Familiar place for Angel Reese, returning to Baton Rouge and having a lot of fun at the PMAC.
Reese, the so-called rival the media tried to manufacture, barely managed a crowd of 6,000. That's not even half. And yes, this was the same week. Let that sink in. One rookie turns a preseason game into a circus, complete with resellers flipping tickets for over $600 apiece, and another can't outdraw a high school pep rally. There were more people standing outside Clark's game without tickets than the total attendance for Reese's entire night. And yet, somehow, people still argue that Angel is the bigger star. No, not even close.
Like, this is to be expected. This is to be expected because, again, we saw Sky, as far as home games, not get the greatest coverage, or not have...
Clark isn't just popular, she's historic. She's the first women's basketball player in recent memory to generate this kind of buzz before playing a single official game. NBA legends weren't pulling this level of interest in preseason, yet Clark is out here crashing ticketing websites, forcing teams to upgrade to bigger venues, and turning every city she visits into a media circus.
Player at 5 foot and in the league, and it's baffling to me. I don't.
She didn't just come home to Iowa, she flipped the entire narrative on what the WNBA could be. People who've never watched a women's game in their life suddenly know her name. Entire households are tuning in just to watch her warm up. That's not hype. That's power. The league needs her. The networks need her. And based on the reaction from fans, the country might just be obsessed with her. And here's the part no one wants to say out loud. The rest of the WNBA couldn't pull this off on their best day. Caitlin Clark walked into preseason like it was the Final Four, and everyone else just looked average. No fireworks, no headlines, no chaos, just business as usual. Meanwhile, Caitlin is the business. So the next time someone says she's overhyped, remind them of this. She sold out an NBA-sized arena in a preseason scrimmage in another city for a team she just joined and had fans lined up around the block before the doors opened. That's not hype. That's a phenomenon in real time.
She has energy, she has an attitude, she'll rebound you the basketball. Great. Nothing else. She has not, and she, what I give, she's.
But what happened next showed just how deep her impact really goes. While Caitlin Clark was being mobbed like a rock star in Iowa, Angel Reese was quietly discovering just how cold the WNBA spotlight can feel when it's not aimed at you. The cameras, they weren't showing up. The fans, sparse. The hype, fading fast. For someone the media dubbed the next big thing, her preseason debut looked more like a soft launch gone wrong. Let's talk numbers. While Clark was drawing 15,000 plus fans and $600 resale tickets just for warm-ups, Reese's big return game brought in a crowd of about 6,000 people. Not terrible for a high school playoff game. For the WNBA, it's borderline embarrassing, especially when you're supposed to be the face of a franchise. And the performance? Forgettable. No viral moments, no flashy plays, just hustle and heart. Great for practice drills, but it doesn't trend on social media. She snagged a few rebounds, forced a couple turnovers, and jogged up and down the court while fans checked their phones. That's not superstardom. That's survival mode.
And LSU, this person perfectly. LSU, I'm calling y'all out. Angel Reese is back at home, and that should have been a sold-out arena. No excuse.
Let's be real, Reese entered the league with a lot of noise. Between the trash talk, the TikToks, and the college drama, people expected her to light the WNBA on fire. But now that the lights are actually on, she's learning that hype and headlines don't translate into buckets and box scores. You can't build a legacy off vibes and Instagram filters. You need results. And just to make matters worse, even her go-to stat padding, rebounds, are getting snatched away. Why? Because Cardoso, her own teammate, is dominating the paint like it's her personal playground. Reese is getting outshined on her own team. And when your own squad has someone making you look average, that's a red flag the size of a scoreboard. The media tried to sell this Clark versus Reese rivalry like it was Magic versus Bird. But right now, it looks more like varsity versus junior varsity. One is breaking records. The other is struggling to break double digits. One is the headline. The other is a footnote. And yet, some fans are still clinging to the idea that Reese is next up. Based on what? Hustle? Clark is drawing NBA-level defenses. Opponents are pressing her full court in preseason. Coaches are literally designing entire game plans to stop her from pulling up from the logo. Meanwhile, Reese? She's floating around in the paint while her teammates fight for scraps. No defensive schemes, no double teams, just space, and not the good kind. While the media plays favorites, we tell it straight. Subscribe for real coverage, real takes, and all things Caitlin Clark. This isn't a rivalry, it's a reminder. A reminder that star power is earned, not gifted. And right now, Angel Reese is finding out the hard way that in the WNBA, talk gets quiet fast when you don't deliver. All the headlines in the world can't hide a stat line that looks like it was scribbled during recess. And just when it looked like it couldn't get worse for Reese, the schedule dropped the biggest bombshell yet. So now all eyes turn to Saturday. Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky. Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. And if you believe the promos, it's the WNBA's version of a heavyweight fight. But let's be honest, this isn't a battle. It's a broadcast-ready beatdown waiting to happen. The league is treating it like a rivalry. ESPN is drooling over the storyline. Social media is foaming at the mouth, ready to crown a queen. But here's the truth the cameras won't say out loud. One of these players is already carrying the league. The other is barely carrying her weight. Caitlin Clark walks into this game like she's already the face of the WNBA. She's the reason attendance records are being shattered. She's the reason teams are moving games into bigger arenas. And she's the reason networks are scrambling to secure broadcast rights. The league revolves around her now. That's not opinion. That's math. Meanwhile, Angel Reese is stepping onto this court hoping she doesn't get overshadowed again. But how can she not? Clark's got the stats, the fans, the endorsements, and the momentum of a freight train. She's selling out games before her feet even touch the hardwood. Reese? She's still figuring out how to stay on the floor and not get benched by her own teammate. And the timing couldn't be worse, because Chicago isn't just rolling out Angel Reese, they're rolling out Cardoso, who's looked more dominant in 2 preseason games than Reese has all month. Imagine the headline: Reese gets outshined by her own teammate, again, while Clark drops 20+ and 3 logo threes on national TV. That's not a rivalry, that's a roast. Think about what's at stake. This is supposed to be the WNBA sophomore showdown, the storyline fans waited for since LSU and Iowa lit up March Madness. But the reality? It's not Clark versus Reese, it's Clark versus the league, because no one, not even her so-called rivals, can match her draw, her game, or her gravitational pull. Angel might be showing up with confidence, but confidence doesn't win games. Clark's showing up with results, with receipts, with arenas sold out and history on repeat. And if the Sky think they're walking into a fair fight, they're about to get blindsided. Because this isn't David versus Goliath. This is Goliath with a Nike deal, sold out seats, a 1,000,000-watt spotlight, and the entire WNBA praying she doesn't slow down. And what happens after this game might just shatter whatever illusions are left. Let's stop pretending this is about basketball. What Caitlin Clark is doing right now has nothing to do with preseason stats or highlight reel. This is a full-blown economic shift, a one-woman tidal wave that's dragging the WNBA out of irrelevance and into the national conversation, with or without their permission. Franchises that were bleeding attendance just 6 months ago are now watching ticket sales explode overnight, but only when Clark's name is on the schedule. Teams aren't even hiding it anymore. The moment the Fever come to town, boom. The venue gets upgraded, seats get doubled, prices skyrocket. You think that's happening because of the Chicago Sky? Please, ticket offices are getting flooded with calls, not asking who's playing, but asking one question: is Caitlin Clark in this game? If she's not, sales slump. If she is, scalpers start treating WNBA tickets like rare sneaker drops. This isn't a coincidence. This is the Caitlin Clark effect, and it's bigger than anyone was prepared for. And the WNBA? They're hanging onto her momentum like it's the last parachute on a crashing plane. For decades, the league begged fans to care. They tried marketing slogans, celebrity performances, endless "this is our moment" campaigns. None of it worked. But one rookie steps on the court and suddenly everyone's paying attention. That's not marketing. That's a miracle. Meanwhile, other rookies like Angel Reese are learning that social media hype doesn't equal staying power. The league can't build around Instagram likes and post-game tweets. It needs revenue. It needs ratings. And right now, Caitlin Clark is the only reason either are moving in the right direction. Don't believe it? Look at the numbers. Her exhibition game against Brazil pulled 1.6 million viewers. That's more than most finales on cable television. And again, this was a preseason game. Reese's games, on the other hand, crickets. Minimal views, no buzz, no sponsors knocking down doors. The truth is uncomfortable, but it's loud. The WNBA's future is being built around one player, and it's not Angel Reese. It's the woman who shows up, breaks records, and leaves arenas in shock every night, before the regular season even starts. Caitlin isn't just a player, she's the blueprint. And that's what makes the next few months even more brutal for every other rookie trying to compete with her shadow. There's a difference between having fans and starting a movement. Caitlin Clark has done something no one in the WNBA, past or present, has ever pulled off. She's created a following that feels less like a sports crowd and more like a full-blown cultural force. This isn't just people watching games. This is obsession. It's kids painting her number on their faces. It's grown adults lining up outside arenas like it's a sneaker drop. It's 10-year-old girls crying when they see her walk by. Not when she scores, not when she wins, just when she walks by. You can't manufacture that. You can't fake it. And you definitely can't copy it. Meanwhile, what does Angel Reese have? A social media fanbase full of hashtags and empty bravado. It's all bark, no bite. Her followers talk loud online, but when it comes time to show up in person, the seats stay empty. You can't ride clout into a legacy. Especially when the only highlight from your last game was a missed layup and a couple of rebounds. Caitlin's followers treat her like a myth in motion. Every city she plays in turns into a pilgrimage site. People are traveling across states just to catch a glimpse of her warming up. Not playing, not scoring, warming up. That level of devotion? It's unheard of. Even her opponent's fans are defecting. At a recent game, a Mystics fan literally wore an Indiana Fever shirt just because Clark was playing. She admitted it. "Yeah, I root for the Mystics, but I love Caitlin more." That's not fan loyalty, that's star gravity. That's how cult figures are born. And it's bigger than the WNBA. Clark's name is now being whispered next to legends. Jordan, Serena, Tiger. People aren't just watching her, they're witnessing her, like every move could be part of history. And the craziest part? She hasn't even played her first regular season game. Now compare that to Angel Reese. No sold-out arenas, no traveling mobs, no children crying tears of joy when she enters the tunnel. Just a lot of noise, a few "you got this girl" tweets, and underwhelming performances that keep proving the gap between hype and greatness. Clark has the kind of fan base that outlasts trends, controversies, and media noise. It's not situational, it's foundational. She's not just a player people cheer for, she's someone they believe in. And that's what makes her unstoppable, because when fans worship you like a legend before your rookie year even starts, that's when you stop being a player and start becoming the game. And now, with the regular season right around the corner, the pressure is not just on Caitlin, it's on everyone else to keep up. Caitlin Clark is the new standard, and everyone else is falling behind. Greatness used to be measured in stats, points per game, rebound, maybe a couple of highlight plays, but Caitlin Clark has thrown all of that out the window. She's redefining what it means to be a superstar in women's basketball, not just by playing the game, but by owning the moment every time she steps on the floor. She's the reason arenas are packed before tip-off. She's the reason fans are paying rent-level prices just to attend preseason. She's the reason the WNBA is trending for once, not because of drama, but because of dominance. Clark didn't just raise the bar. She ripped it off the wall and launched it into the sky. And while she's out here flipping the league upside down, the rest of the rookies, including Angel Reese, are still trying to find their footing. That's not hate, that's reality. You can talk all you want about hustle and confidence, but when the scoreboard says one thing and the empty seats say another, the truth gets louder than the noise. Caitlin Clark isn't just winning games. She's winning the moment, the fans, the cameras, and the future of the WNBA. And if players like Angel Reese can't catch up, they'll be left exactly where they are now, in her shadow. So if you're tired of the fake hype, the empty narratives, and the media's obsession with selling drama instead of real talent, subscribe now. Because we're not here to sugarcoat it, we're here to follow the truth. And the truth is simple. This is Caitlin Clark's league now. Everyone else is just playing in it. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.